you don't really know what's going to happen.
We want to make sure that everyone can be chasing that American dream.
Sometimes the only way to succeed is just to not give up. Now they know
The other side.
Jon, Mad Dog guy?
No,
Absolutely not.
Not even old, like, what about Old English and the Edward Forty Hands? How do you play Edward Forty Hands unless you stoop that low and you put on, drink some of that shit?
I drink Busch Light and Keystone.
That was what I did too. But you never
Mike's Hard
did.
Lemonade, that was when I first had my first
Mike's
beer.
Hard Lemonade. Dude, my first alcoholic beverage was a Zima. That was my first one ever.
Yeah.
I think I was 9.
Now it's a White Claw. Now it's popular.
Yeah.
So we had an idea back in the day. It just wasn't
take
right
off.
for the generation.
Yeah, dude, I told you the other day, I was like, literally, White Claw is just rebranded Zima. That's
Right,
all it is.
100%.
They nailed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they nailed it.
You're right. It was not for that generation. It was not at all.
No,
We were all like, there was no social media. You're not trying to keep up with the Joneses. There was no bottle service shit where you put online. It was like, dude, we drink fucking beer. We drink Coors Light in a 30-pack a piece, and you figure it out. And you didn't worry about
figure it out.
And you didn't worry about getting arrested and putting it online or whatever.
Facts.
The cops would follow you home and make sure you got home okay because
Yeah.
you knew them. And now this generation's like, God, you fart wrong, and it's like, Jon Storey farted in the public bathroom at Hooters today, and
That's where you'd be at. I like it.
Yeah.
I think we have.
Peaks.
By the way,
Twin
welcome to the
Peaks.
podcast, Mr. Jon Storey. What a great introduction. Farting in Hooters. Woo! Oh, Jon
That was a good
Storey.
introduction.
What a great self-promoting introduction, bro. We're so happy to have you, bro. This is going to be as bad as I think it's going to be. It's going to be great. I love it. Hey, welcome to the podcast. We're so glad you're here. Flew in all the way from sunny Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome to the other side.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, it's so good to see you. I know we met just briefly, like maybe a year ago. I can't remember how long. When was that?
A little over a year ago.
A little over a year ago, and somehow just kind of stayed in touch on social media. And we have our event coming up tomorrow that you're going to be speaking at, and so we decided to have you come in and do a podcast with us. It's good to just spend some time with you and get to learn you a little bit better, my buddy.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Let's do it.
Yeah, this is my first time meeting you. So I mean, we've only kept up to social media and
In
through
your
text.
quads. In your quads.
I appreciate
Kept
that.
Up with your
Well,
quads.
take that thing.
Yeah, why
That's
did-
true.
It's just
Well,
it's inappropriate.
It's something. Trust me. 90% of our clientele, females.
And I get it, but
You're attributing that to your quads.
and I can see
Oh,
that because
God.
you're wearing women's shorts because they're halfway down your leg, and you're just like,
No, I-
there.
First of all, halfway
They're-
down the
yeah.
leg is the knee.
It's like a crop
I don't
top.
know. I don't
top.
know what kind of like.
It's like a crop top on the shorts.
I don't know
It's,
what kind of
it's all
education
good.
they have
Got
down
it
there,
for it.
but
I got to do it.
It was
Gotta
the
do
same gym shorts I wore when I played freshman basketball.
It's the same gym shorts that college females wear in volleyball.
I know, so you're good. You're good. You're
Yeah.
good.
They get discounts on it. It's great.
Right, yeah.
Buy a toddler size, I'll be fine. We're good.
as long as you don't buy them used.
Yeah, that's true. I would never do that. we make enough money now where I can buy new
buy
clothes.
new
I can
underwear.
stop buying new stuff.
Yeah,
Thank
dude,
God.
that's great.
That's how we got there.
So, Jon, you have a significant career surrounding real estate. As a young man, you were involved in a lot of transactions in real estate. You've been in coaching real estate. You've been in promoting real estate. You've been in marketing real estate. You've been helping with real estate agents. You've got this incredible platform, Jon Storey Coaching, that's helping literally top agents all around the country, like learn how to, have the business of their dreams. You do all this shit. It's all incredible. It's all amazing. And we're just fascinated to find out how the fuck you even got here. So why don't you get us back to like the origins? Walk us through like how you kind of just started in business and in real estate.
I mean, real estate, I didn't think I was ever going to do real estate. I thought I was going to go into the medical field. I was going to get my degree in respiratory therapy. Had 2 semesters left, decided to drop out of college. That's why the back of my Ferrari says drop out.
Yeah.
And then,
That's like my favorite license plate ever.
yeah. And then I realized that my stepfather, that we didn't have a great upbringing with for many years, taught me like just critical tasks every day. And what I didn't realize is from 12 to 18, we had done over 200 transactions. So he would take me out on the job sites, do land development, takeoffs. Here's how you make your money here. But not only so much as that, and it's interesting in the real estate community, people would be like, well, you don't sell real estate. I'm like, yeah, I don't. I focus. I'm not trying to be the creator of many. I'm trying to be the master of one. Because I think if you're the creator of many, you'll never understand what being the master of one is. And that's where you can control your time to be freedom and do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And then you can talk your shit, right?
Right.
So my rebuttal to that is like, have you ever framed a house? No? You ever done concrete, wiring, sheetrock, land development, takeoffs, new builds, flipped a house? No? Then shut the fuck up and sit down and take notes.
Right.
I mean, we're just in this modern day and age where everybody just wants to point the finger versus be like, hey, I like to go in a room like, what can I learn from this person? How can I be better? What's one thing that I can implement tomorrow for the next 29 days and see if it actually changed my behaviors? And then I'll go from there. But if it doesn't and it's not entertaining to me, which most rooms, big entrepreneurs, when they speak, it's the same shit. People flying in on private jets and all this other shit. And, oh, we're going to scale no, they're not, dude, because people, the worst thing that they have to do is they can't do the same shit every day. Like me, I do the same shit every day for my company. The same, if you go to my posts on social media, 90% of the time I'm putting content out there. You know what I mean? Like that's hard for most people. They open up a business and it's like you're paying for a company to do it, which never will work. It's never you, your authentic self. If it's your company, own that shit and run it. You know what I mean? And so when I'm always excited to come on podcasts because you get all these big people to come on there and they have, all these companies. And I'm like, bro, but like, you're never the master of one. Tell me one company that makes you $500,000 a year. Just one. And start there. Then, because how are you going to duplicate the other 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 that you own and never run it that way if you can't even make $500,000 consistently for 5 years? So that's the nut that like my buddy Bradley told me. He's like, bro, scale after 5 years. Because if you can make $500,000 consistently after 5 years, then you've got something that you can work with.
Right.
The problem is that you're always robbing from Peter to pay Paul, these entrepreneurs, and then sometimes they hit it big and sometimes they don't hit it big. Does that make sense?
Well, of course.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's just kind of like, for me, that's what my stepfather taught me too, is like, that's why we do new build construction. We've done it for forever, and land development. We do a little bit of flips. Finally, towards the end of the year, then we started, after I would say 10 years of me doing it, knowing, and then I got into the title field and we were still connected. I was like, why don't you do residential resale? So you're talking a guy that had built his first house from 18, and then finally, like 30 plus years later, he's like, yeah, we're going to do residential resale and do those too. So these people that are actually, so like, it dawned on him, I'm like, bro, these people are buying a new build from you, which means they might be selling their home or whatever. He's like, I don't give a fuck. I just don't want to deal with it. Then I'm like, the amount of money you're losing, and all of a sudden he's like, all right, we'll do it now. How do you set that up? So he comes to me.
But at some point it didn't make sense, and at some point in his mind it did. What changed for him, do you think?
Freedom of time. Freedom of time.
Yeah.
He liked to be an artist. He liked to paint, and he wanted to do the things that he wanted to do. And he just said, he's like, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And he goes, but it's interesting. He's got, when he grew up, it was the same problem where people would work 2 to 3 jobs to provide for a family. So they're never the master of one. Like once you can master the art of just being master, like my company's just one entity.
Right.
The amount of people that are like, oh, dude, you should get into this and own this. And, well, yeah, but then that takes away my time and my freedom. I already have the time and freedom. Like, so now if I go do that, it manipulates the time and my freedom. Then it takes my happiness away. And me being happy versus a grumpy, is
I think we'd all appreciate that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know you well, but I don't think I would enjoy you grumpy. I think you're probably a bit of an ass.
I could be an asshole. We're all entitled to be one. We have one.
I'm not saying I'm not throwing any shade. I'm not saying, I'm just saying.
It's
Don't
funny.
Get beat up on our podcast, please.
Well, it's funny, man. It's like it's just a weird thing where like my stepdad was very matter of fact, like wake up at 4 a.m. as a young kid and do your shit and call it a day.
Is he like, would you say he's your mentor?
I would say now, knowing, it's a really interesting story because he beat me when I was a kid. And then when I got into the papers of being an athlete, he left me alone.
No
and
shit.
then for 13 years, like I just had this, I would do interviews like this, when I first started my company. And I remember, I'm listening to these people and I'm doing a speaking engagement. And these people are like giving me their crutch stories. Like there's always a reason why they can't be the master of one.
I fucking hate that.
There's always a fucking reason why they can't be the master of one. And the reason I wasn't the master of one is because my stepfather, I used him as a fucking crutch. Like, oh, he beat me, so I have this story. Or my daughter's mom, she passed away from drugs and alcohol, so that's why I'm this way. Or my mom didn't give a fuck. But it really started with him. And I remember I rolled over to Colette and I was like, I'm flying home. And I would go up there all the time to see my buddies. I'm like, I'm just going home for this one sole purpose. I don't know how many fucking days it's going to take me. I'll be back when I get back. I'll just keep booking a hotel room until it figures it out. And then the first day I get up there, I go up to him, and now here's a guy that's a multimillionaire, talented, built his first home when he was 18. Probably one of the smartest human beings I've ever met, intellectually, as far as I've ever met, by anybody. Even I met some top entrepreneurs, but like could smoke anybody. You know, you're up there. You know, you're getting there. But
We're at the 5 year mark. We're getting there.
What a compliment.
So I'm like, I'm sick and tired of using this dude as a crutch and like anger. You know, you get mad about shit that people did for you in your life, and so I remember I go up to the house that we built together, and the next thing I know, like he wasn't there, came back, answered the door, and he's shaking, and he's got Parkinson's. So then he's got Parkinson's, and then so we rekindle our relationship. We fly out there. He was gonna fly back to see because I've got 3 kids. I was like, you can meet your grandkids. You know, my brother's kind of used his ass. Hopefully, listen to this podcast. Fuck you. That's about how I feel about that, but in a scope of things, it's then I'm telling him all these things that I learned from him, right? So you all learn from each other, right? So I'm in Utah and I'm going to do my first speaking engagement, and he's supposed to come, supposed to pick him up, nothing, not calm, whatever. Don't hear anything from him. Finally, I don't hear from him for like months later. Send him text messages, no response. And my cousin finally is like, bro, are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, your stepdad committed suicide. I'm like, what do you mean he committed suicide? He's like, yeah, he blew his brains out the day that I was supposed to go watch me speak.
No shit.
Damn.
Yeah. So the day that I was going to go for the first time in his entire life of helping me be my mentor, that was the point that broke me. That kind of changed a lot of things, where I realized I was always chasing the money versus the freedom of time, because time's the most valuable asset you have, where you can hang out with good friends and do shit. You know how people always tell me I can do more, and I believe that I'm capable of more, but I'd rather go out with my fucking boots on, knowing that I lived my life for me, not for anybody else's fucking opinion trying to tell me what I need to live and how I'm going to live my life.
There's so much peace in that. It sounds so like, it almost sounds like it creates conflict, but it really doesn't. It actually creates more peace when you just have that resolve. It makes a lot of decisions a lot easier. That's for fucking sure.
I had a friend that died today.
No shit.
She told me at the beginning of this year she was going to get her shit together, get her real estate stuff together. On my phone on the airplane, found out she'd passed away. And she told me that she was like going to get her real estate stuff together. She was excited. She was going to join my coaching. It was going to really help her. She was the nicest person ever. Anything, just always like uplifting. Man, I think we joke about a lot of stuff in life, whatever it is, but mental health is a really big thing now. And I think social media destroys a lot of people because there's always the smoke and mirrors of like, life's so good. But, we all go through our tough times, I just think that sometimes it's okay to just grab somebody as a human being and just like give them a compliment. You know what I mean? I think we're so judgy, beer burp, on all the shit people do wrong. Like all you see on social media is shit that people do wrong, and shit that people do stupid, and shit that they drove their golf cart into the fucking water and that's funny. But were they laughing 4 holes prior and having a great time? So what social media, and where I'm opposite of, is that we just like, we beat the shit out of each other without knowing, and subconsciously we watch this all day long of all this funny shit of people doing stupid shit and beating each other up, that we're never happy with ourselves going, fuck, dude, am I actually living my life?
Right.
Like I'm coping with something else. And that's where, like, for my social media, I put it out there, like, I'm real raw, like nothing's perfect. Nothing's ever going to be perfect. You can like my shit. You don't like my shit. I have fun with my kids, and I jokingly do it with my kids versus like, I just think in life, we just, like, you could do 4 things right and 99,000 things wrong, and they're going to find the 99,000 things.
Yeah.
Like there's, like anytime somebody gets any sort of fame, it's like, let's pinpoint all the shit they did wrong.
Yeah.
Never like, bro,
Dude, nobody wants to be under that kind of microscope.
There's a lot of people that are.
But nobody really wants to be.
We choose to be.
But they accept that people are. It's just dumb. You don't have to. You don't have to. It's an option.
Yes. I mean, like when I tell people about my story, about things like that, then they're like, well, fuck, I never saw that side. I'm like, right. I don't need to just, that's not like an everyday, like, okay, everybody. So here's a daily reminder of those that haven't been on my social media. My daughter's mom died. I've had full custody of her. My stepdad committed suicide when I was doing a speaking engagement. He used to beat me. My mom used to watch it and shit like that. My friends were all gang members growing up, and we did some crazy shit. Like, is that how I need to start my fucking day every day? No. Start my day looking at my kids. Like, that's why I got my little bling here. It's my kids' initials, and I got them tattooed on my body. And, I try to do everything to remind me of them of like, that's the purpose of why I do things. Cause I don't want them to I never want my fucking kids to go through the shit that I went through ever in a fucking million years. I wouldn't wish that upon anybody with the shit that I've been through in my life, with the demons that I have in my fucking head at all. Hard life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's harder than most people think. And I've learned to adapt to that because thankfully, getting into this industry, it's helped me realize that like, I'm not the only person with problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Nathan, I've learned that quite often just being in the business. Cause I remember I was telling him a few episodes ago that when I first got in the business from just W-2 working at the freaking warehouse, anybody who said they owned a business, I immediately thought they're like a trillionaire and had all these like life was good. And I thought my vision of what a business owner was just beyond what I am. And then to learn that just because you have an LLC doesn't mean shit, right? Because you have a business doesn't mean anything. Right. I don't know what they've gone through. I don't know where they're at in the business. I don't know the problems they have. I don't know the family life. I just assumed you're a business owner, you know what you're doing, and that's it. So kind of to your point, you just never see that shit behind the scenes, which is partly why we're doing with the podcast we're doing now, is because we want to show people like, dude, it's not social media. This is the long version of what really fucking happens as we're going through, the growing pains of a business.
And actively, it's not like we're 10 years down the road talking about our successes. We're literally the fucking middle.
We're the middle.
Which gives it a unique authenticity because it's not coming from a place of grandeur. It's coming from a place of humility and a place of like, hey, like, let's just talk about it.
Like,
here's the thing, right?
Real quick, hold on. So I want to do this real fast. Before we move on too far, could we just like toast to your friend, dude? Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
May she rest in peace.
Yep. Cheers to that.
I didn't want to forget about that.
No, it's all good, man. No, it's just sad,
It is. But you honor the life.
Yeah, I mean, that's why you got to learn to love life and live it. And, being an entrepreneur is fun because you get to travel, meet new people, meet new guys.
Yeah.
I like podcasts because, your friends will ask how you're doing, but they'll never give you an hour. So you're giving me an hour to listen to me. You know what I mean?
We can take 3.
And then people learn from it and they're like, holy fuck, bro, I didn't know that about you and whatever it is. I'm like,
no.
We just never went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
We never got that far. So, I mean, it's, I look at social media now for me and how I put it out there is that if I was to pass away, my grandkids and great grandkids would be able to know who Jon Storey was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Stuff like this,
versus real estate agents and other business owners, they just put out like it's just nonstop fucking business. Like you're never gonna like that's great that you owned a water manufacturing company, but who the fuck were you? Like you're never gonna get to know anybody because you don't put any content out there about you. Go to any of my social media, you literally can know exactly all the shit that I like to do and how I am with my kids.
For sure.
And so that's what that's why I build it. But that's why people work with people when we're in a people-driven industry.
Were you always just, to your point, there's two things I've heard that I feel like are not contradicting, but I'm trying to figure it out. So the reason, I'll just tell you where I'm going
from a liberal, by the way.
Yes, 100%, far left, fucking, I have a Biden pillow in my fucking house.
it's a body pillow.
Yeah, it's a full body pillow.
It cuddles it.
It's great.
Every once in a while it gets lost and it goes into the bathroom and he's got to find it, take his shit.
Yeah, it's fucking great. A little, never mind. I'll end there. But no, so Nathan and I, we felt like now we're like, 5 years down, so we can do the podcast now because now honestly, like we built it. Yeah. So now we don't, we always had that saying where you had to act as if. You remember that? Do you ever watch Boiler Room?
No.
Okay, so there's a scene in there where he says,
first of all, put it on your fucking list.
Yeah.
It's one of the greatest.
I've seen it once, but it's not like one of those movies that I would watch. I guess I need to watch it over and over.
I've probably watched it more times.
You have to watch it 10 times.
Step Brothers is the one that I would watch.
That's right. If you had asked me what your top 5 favorite movies, that would be one of my guesses. It was that or Talladega Nights.
Yeah, Talladega Nights. Shake
that was a good one too. All day.
Ricky Bobby.
Okay, what was your question? 5 minutes ago.
7 pounds, 11 ounces.
Sweet
act as this, right? So you always had to like, so Nathan and I had to, when we first went into business, to your point, we're not going to be like, hey, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. I'm trying this thing now. That's what the concept was. So now that we're 5 years in, we feel like we can finally tell the story of like, dude, we were broke making this company. We bet our last paycheck on a guy to make this fucking accounting firm happen. Now that we're 5 years in, right? We wouldn't say that at the beginning. So to your point, you've
I would tell
always been like that. Were you like that from day one, where you're like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing? In the sense of like, I'm
I
starting
knew what the fuck I was doing to generate business because I had done it prior.
Yeah.
But that's what we're saying. Like back before it was prior. Like when you first started.
But even when I started in my company, I tell people all the time, like, dude, like I had $300 fucking left in my bank account, left a $25,000 a month salary job. My son wasn't even born yet. He was a couple months away. We had to get insurance to cover that. My wife and I weren't married she got on. I mean, it was just a clusterfuck of shit. You know what I mean? But it's like, I wanted to roll the dice. And the reason that I did that, to answer your question of like, do you fake it till you make it? I was faking it till I made it, getting a $25,000 a month salary, getting in front of these people, acting like I was happy, because half the people I just want to be like, you're the dumbest fucking person in the world. You should never do this, whatever it's going to be. You have no work ethic to where it is. You've been here for 8 weeks and you can't even fucking make one post in fucking 60 days.
Yeah.
Like, why are you here? Why are you taking my time? And then I come home and they're calling you and texting you like, oh, you're not even fucking, and then I go home and then I realize like, fuck, dude, I'm bringing my work now home with me, which is, I would recommend for no one to do that. Sure, it's going to happen, but you got to have like that separation. And I've been really good about it the last years, like several years, I would say 5+ years after I got through my first year of my business. But that's why I quit the fucking job. I had a $25,000 guaranteed salary. And as I grew, I was going to get paid more. And I was like, this is fucking not worth it. This is the misery that these people cause me to come home and be snippy at my kids is not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's where the fake it till you make it. I could have come home, told my kids everything was happy, but then I tell them, I'm like, dude, I left. Now I come home, I get to mess around with my kids. Like, my buddy's sitting over here in the corner watching me do the podcast, but my son only likes a certain amount of my friends. You don't mess with him all the time when he gets there, but it's because I'm home. Mm-hmm. Mm. I'm home. I'm hanging out with my kid. People like, I'm here doing this podcast. People like say you're gone. And I'm like, yeah, but I spend more quality time with my kid in a week than you do in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talk about that a lot. I'm divorced, and one of the silver linings of divorce for me was when I had my kids, I was just with my kids.
Right.
And I tell people regularly, I spend way better time with my kids now than I ever did when I was married.
Right.
Because it's so intentional. Like, it's just us. Like, I've been doing this for, over 5 years. Like they're my fucking dudes. Because we just done everything together for 5.5 years. Like, that's it. I spend way more time with them. In fact, Mike and I, we just kind of have kids on the same weekends. So I have my kids and he has his kid on the same weekends. And one of the things we decided early on in our business was we weren't going to work when we have our children. So in the last 5.5 years, we've taken every other Friday off. Every single one. Now, there's been a few meetings here and there, and the kids are in schools and stuff like that.
Right.
But it's just a.
Well, that's
our priority.
Non-negotiable.
It's a priority.
Exactly.
It's a non-negotiable.
It's a genuine priority, and we have a phrase we talk about a lot. We've talked about it on the podcast several times.
We can go down the rabbit hole. So because that's the fake it till you make it type shit, right? Mm-hmm. Too many parents are fucking Disneyland parents.
Yeah.
Like I see these parents back home, and they're taking it every week, and they're out doing all this shit and doing all these things, and I'm like, holy fuck, dude! It's like, number one, I know you can't afford it. Number two, like. What do you do with them the rest of the time? Like, you know what I mean? They're trying to make up for being gone. So like when they're gone during the week is, 12 hours a day in a sense, so that's 60 hours, then they're trying to sleep. So you have 160 hours in a week, and you're trying to get down to it. Now you really have, 8 hours of quality time, maybe with your kids, but that's between drive time, getting somewhere, whatever it's going to be.
Especially as they get older.
Just showing up to the game, And when they get older, it becomes less and less, which I've really learned with my daughter that's 14 now. But I mean, fuck, dude, I love it, dude. I'll be, even if I'm just watching my shows, I'm always kind of just zoned out. Me and my son will throw the football around this fucking corner of our banister.
Yeah.
We're talking like 60 times. He brings it back. Like he just, Dad, go,
At
Dad.
30, he brings you 2 ibuprofen.
Yeah, and it's just,
he's like, hey, Dad, I don't want you to complain. He's like, I don't want you to tell me you got a headache.
Yeah.
So here's some ibuprofen.
So I mean, it's just there's a lot of cool things being an entrepreneur, man.
Yeah, but that's what I like about you though. Like just learning. I kind of got that sense from you, and like I said, edgy and just kind of in your face, and this is how it is, right? I like the fact that you're saying, because some people I can already tell from this podcast, just from what you just said, are going to say, make excuses and say like, well, that's not fair because we do this, or I have to do this in order to provide. I can just hear the excuses from the podcast. And my
Fuck your
opinion
excuses,
is,
bro.
Yeah, that's my opinion is the people that really want it will make a change drastically, because if it's a priority, it's going to be a priority. You're going to take the sacrifice, listen to what you have to say. You only have a certain amount of hours in a day. You're going to do what you got to do to get out of that shit so you can live the life that you want to live. And those are the people you want to work with,
And it's
not the people who are going to fucking make
excuses. It's not for everybody in that aspect. And I get it takes a whole world to go around, and some people can be happy doing what they're going to do. And that's just totally fine.
Yep.
But it's not an issue of right or wrong.
I'm not trying to diminish that.
It's an issue of values. It's not an issue of right and wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to go, when you prioritize your time and you're not giving it to the people that matter. And here's a great lesson is that my daughter, when I first opened my company, we're not, I think as parents, we're not specific, which rolls into why we're not specific of, you guys have non-negotiables of every other Friday we have our kids, which is great. Can you imagine if other parents would have the same thing, but they can't live that life because they're 9 to 5, they still get home Friday at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
They're barely eating dinner. Then let's cram every fucking thing we can into it on Saturday. Then Sunday, let's relax, and we're back to it. So my thing is, and Jesse Itzler, I think that's who it was, but he's like, just give 20 minutes of your day to your kids, just to them. And he goes, bro, you'd be surprised because just that 4 hours. So that 4 hours that you're giving your kids, you're not teaching them how to be a human being. You're not teaching them, talking to them about their day. All you're out there doing is going and having fun.
Yep.
That's it. So when we look at adults, when we go hang out with their buddies and we give them our 3 to 4 hours, what are we doing? We're just we're not learning anything. We're being degenerates.
Correct.
So, I mean, we're all human beings are creature, we're creatures of habit in a sense, but at the same moment, it's like, what the fuck? I mean, I love hanging out with my friends. I've got some of the best friends that I have, and that's why I give them my time, and I think it's important. But I also make sure that, prior to that, I'm hanging out with my kids. We're doing breakfast. Like, anytime I go ride, my kids always will come out, and they always make my bikes look dirty as shit by the time they're done. But for 30 minutes, we turn the TV on, we go outside, I'll have my coffee, I get their, claws clean, and they're wiping down my Harleys if I'm going to go ride. Actually, grown men ride Harleys. Just, we're going to get you one day. We're going to get you one day.
Indian Scout is where I was going for the next bike I was going to get. But, we'll work on this.
But it's one of those, like, they love it, dude. I go out there and it's just our routine. Like, if I'm out there cleaning the car, if I'm going to get in the Ferrari, like, we figure out which kid's going to go in the Ferrari, and that's time that you can't get back. But then I'm teaching them, hey, you got to turn the cloth and do it this way. Let me ask you a question.
Let me ask you a question.
He's trying to get to me yet.
This is a genuine question. Yeah. I was just thinking about that too, by the way.
I'm getting an R6 for the next bike, by the way. So one day we'll be friends.
That's a nice one. I like those.
Yeah. Now, they don't make them anymore. So I got to go find one that's not all fucked up.
Yeah.
But that's the next one.
Yeah.
Let's say your kids just have a moment where they have this crazy question for you.
Right.
And the crazy question that they have for you is, Dad, tell me about how you feel about pain. How would you talk to your kids about
what kind of pain though?
The emotional pain that you dealt with, the physical pain that you dealt with growing up. It sounds like you've been in some seriously painful relationships. People who are meaningful to you have died. Like you've experienced tremendous loss.
Yeah.
Those pains. Like if your kids are like, Dad, like, what do you think about pain? How would you describe it to your kids? How would you talk about it to your kids?
Pain is something we enable into our life. Pain is something we can eliminate by the people that we allow in our circle. And what I mean by that is that I think, people will go through their life like we're going to do a goal setting thing. I do a friend setting thing every week.
I like this. Let's go into this.
Dive into this for a second.
I do a friend setting thing that was taught to me by, like, who takes your time? What do they talk about? Are they always complaining? They're always in the same situation. Shit, man, I had a guy that was like, my brother, I considered that was a good friend of mine for forever, right? And
are we good?
We're not friends on social media. We good?
This battery just says it's dead, but it's plugged in, so I'm trying to figure that out.
Okay.
I'm still recording on this.
All right.
And that one's good to go?
And that one's
Okay,
still
cool.
good.
We're good then.
Oh, nobody needs to see me anyway, so it's all good. Where, fuck it.
So first of all, your big ass is seen by everybody. You don't fucking hide behind Sasquatch, bro. You're fucking Donkey Kong and you got your shoulders popping out of the fucking Mario Kart,
That's
bro.
I'll just scoot closer to John because we're such good friends right now.
Yeah, you guys can buddy up. Okay, I feel the pheromones all the way over here.
Yeah. Don't get jealous. But it's just an audit, man. I mean,
well, okay, so
it's just an audit of your friends.
Just taking your time. What are they talking about?
What are they complaining about? And then if you were to look at it, are they in the same situation? But do they call to just check on you and say, hey man, how's your day? How's it going? Like how many of your friends actually call you that you are friends with that you...
I have several.
Right. And I have several.
But I've built that just like you have.
But it's the same thing.
Those are
but I never did that because when I was doing my stuff, I was so busy turning and burning. And then when I had full custody of my daughter, it was everybody was against me in the world. And I'm trying to provide a life. And then I transitioned from dating a fucking crazy chick that, her name's Gina, by the way.
Social security number.
Just fucking
555.
crazy, bro.
The crazy hot scale is in full effect.
Listen to me, I'm not listen to me. I've been married and divorced, so I'm not in a relationship. I'm not giving anybody relationship advice. I'm just saying
we all know. You don't have to caveat. We all agree.
By the end of the day, it's like then all of a sudden I transition into what I'm doing now. Then everybody wants your time, bro. Can I pick your brain? Can I do this? Then all of a sudden you get there, and then. Then you get knocked out by the best man in your wedding at Bike Week, and while you're having a casual conversation, you get hit to the fucking shit ton of bricks. And that's where life realizes, like, some people are meant to stay over here and never come back.
Fuck yeah, dude. I agree on that.
And that was one of the dudes, and I was just trying to be nice, and I could have handled things probably better, and I'll always say that knowing it. But at the end of the day, like I will say, I got knocked fucking... But I've been the delivery on most of my shit in my life. I would say 99%. He got me a good one. You know what I mean? I'll give it to him. But at the end of the day, as a grown man and you're 40 and that's still what you're doing, that motherfucker's got a lot of fucking built up problems. I don't because I apologized. I forgave him within 30 minutes. I wasn't mad about it. I just moved the fuck on. I got friends that are still mad.
Tell us what
I
happened?
got friends that are still mad. Well, we were just having a conversation, bro. There's more to it. I'm not going to get on this on the fucking podcast.
That's what I'm just curious. I don't know how.
I mean, the dude, listen, he was a cool dude. Like we, made a lot of good stuff, and we just kind of went our separate ways. Tried to rekindle. It wasn't what it was. We were having a conversation. He didn't like the conversation. There were some things that people in his life like to stir and never tell the fucking truth on. There's two sides to every story, and I was just trying to be, trying to hemorrhaging some stuff, and then he wanted to fucking punch me in the face.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, it's always a good time. But you know what? Hey, guess what? You're going to get knocked down every day.
Yeah.
You're going to get knocked out every day in a sense. Well, and that went viral, and people were like, oh, I can't believe Jon Storey. Oh, fuck this guy, blah, blah. And at the end of the day, I'm like, but you're talking about me.
Yay.
And then you look at my, and then motherfucker, you look at my life, and then I'm all of a sudden
and then you say some shit.
Then I'm at Nate Diaz's fucking fight ringside, and then I bought a Ferrari, and then I'm still doing speaking engagements. And the difference is, to all you that are watching this, I kept going the next day. Yeah. I didn't wake up going, oh my God, this shit fucking happened to me. And posted about it. I just said, bro, I got knocked out. It's fine. I'm going to get back up. But guess what I learned from it? People in your past stay in your past.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like taking it, it's like redating your ex for the third time.
Don't talk about that.
It's just not going to work.
Too soon.
But at the end of the day,
listen, that's a sensitive subject between the two of us.
Here's the cool thing, man. Like, I'm not scared to say that. And if we chop this up to even put it on social media, because the problem is I don't care. And here's where it is. If people care enough to be like, oh my God, I can't say it. Why are you so worried about me? Why are you so worried about what I do? Do you wake up in the morning, you're like, God, hopefully he wiped his ass when he took a shit correctly. I should probably be at his house. Like, that's how wrapped up people within social media are in this world that want to contradict and put people down instead, he may have had 20, 30 people that were like, oh my God, I can't do it. I had like 300 or 400 fucking people reach out to me. And one of them that was important to me was Peachwood that passed away today. She checked on me. She, all these things. Hey, I don't think it's right that people are saying that. And I told her, I said, you know what? It's all good. People that take time out of their day to slander somebody online and talk shit have nothing fucking better to do in their life, which is something I don't do. I put things in relative perspectives, but I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, fuck that, blah, blah, and put send. You know what I mean? Like, that's just how fucking your life is so boring. And most of these people are parents and adults or whatever it's going to be. Put yourself in another person's situation. Like, I still woke up. I was fine. My friend's not waking up. My stepdad's not waking up. My daughter's biological mother ain't waking up. Yeah. We want to always push the blame on everything else. And that's why anybody that ever tries me to do anything and they're always like, oh, you should do whatever. I'm like, I am the master of fucking one. That's it.
Yeah, you're very clear about that. I love the conviction that you have about that.
Yeah. because
I mean, not like your buddy Mike. He's a mess. He does everything.
I'm not going to change.
But you,
I'm not
you
going to
got your shit together.
I'm
That
not
Mike
going
guy,
to.
though.
Well, I don't have my shit together. I just have it shit together enough to
in
where
one area.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
just-
a valuable area.
It's the freedom of my time is the most important thing, because if I pass away today, sure, my kids are going to be fine. And, you know, people are like, oh, do you need a Ferrari? Do you need all these things you have? Well, you're the one asking me about shit that I have that you can never afford. So think about that question that you just asked me, number one. And number two, if you could afford the shit that I have, you would be pissed off if you could drive a Ferrari and all this other shit and whatever it's going to be. But also,
No,
it's like,
because you're very rarely going to get shit on from somebody who's doing more than you. Almost never.
Well, you're not. But
Almost never.
But the problem is, in society, social media makes people look like they're doing more than everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, the shine is coming off, man.
Yeah, it can only last so long. I've been doing the same thing for fucking years, bro.
Yeah, it's just
It's like golf,
we're actually gonna
bro.
talk about this a
Your
lot.
handicap is your fucking handicap. Like that's it. Like my buddy Mike, he's a shitty golfer.
Yeah.
But you know what?
What's his
He's
handicap?
fun to golf with. He's a 15, but he's my member guest partner and my
Shitty
fucking
golfer at 15.
my power. Well, I'm a 6 or 7.
Ooh,
Subtle flex and a drink.
all right.
Oh man. Hey, I'm the same way, dude. I'm fun to hang around with, but don't take me if it's not best ball.
Hey, since somebody was up, can we get another beer out here?
Yeah, we can.
No, I actually just text I was like, hey, can you bring me a glass?
But I mean, but that's
they're all
the
good.
thing that's the thing of life is like, you know, numbers are numbers. And the cool thing is you guys work with numbers. You know what I mean?
What the beauty about numbers are is they don't lie to you.
No.
They're truth serum. What it does for us is it allows us to get beyond the veil of all the masks, all the Instagram stuff that we're talking about. And it actually, what people think is numbers dehumanize things, and I think the opposite. It humanizes you because it's centered on something that's true. And so what happens is we actually get to an authentic self of that person, and you get to find out a lot of what their actual concerns are, what their fears are, what their, like business owners that might look flashy or real estate agents that might look flashy online, and they come to us and like, dude, I haven't paid taxes in 6 years. I'm terrified I'm going to go to jail. You know what I mean? Like, dude, that shit like happens.
Well, it's just
regularly.
because. Well, here's the thing: it's uneducated. Number one. Number two, it's
just truth. I love it.
It's going. There's a lot of people out there that haven't filed taxes, and I hear that shit all the time. But also, I'm like, right. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like it really counts in the last 2. I mean, they're not going to. You know what I mean? It's like they're only going to go. But you think that you're on their radar. That's the problem. Is they get the insecurities. But the other the other question is. People are out there in the world, and I would ask anybody this. I'm like, what truly makes you happy? So if I was to ask you, what makes you happy?
I don't really care that much about happiness. I care
Then
more.
what's the point of waking up?
No, I care more about peace and like.
That is your happiness.
Yeah,
That's what I was gonna say, dude.
So that's your happiness.
But I don't say that. Here's why, because I think that the most impactful peace is when things aren't happy. Is that when you're going through shit and you still find this way to have a resolve and a peace
Go
within
through
your
some
spirit.
shit that I went through, bro, and then you're gonna find out happiness is fucking great.
I get that, but I'm saying that I think what I value more is something that I think of myself as a pretty happy dude. Like
Everybody's gonna have their own happiness. For me,
I value peace over happiness.
Yeah, okay.
But it's just my personal value.
My definition of happiness is probably peace.
Okay,
then.
got it. We might be talking about the same thing with different words.
Yeah, it's just different. You know, it's like tomato. You know what I mean? This is the greatest fucking podcast ever. We're just throwing shit around.
Listen, this is
why.
why we do this, because first of all, what you don't know is that to most people who follow our company, they don't even know that I exist. It's the greatest shit ever.
Literally the only face of the company.
Like literally, because I'm like,
once in a while.
He's got good hair. You know,
once in a while.
You need to show up more, dude.
I am. That's why we're fucking
know,
doing this,
I
because
know.
now they get to see me for hours, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
I'm just here for the diversity points.
Yeah, dude.
We get extra grants every year.
I wanted a
Hispanic
grant
on their team.
I just really wanted a grant to start this business, so we
Minority business owner.
Brought Mike along.
So it works.
Yeah.
Cheers.
He's also adopted, so double whammy. Boom, boom.
There you go. Who's your daddy? We
not
don't
sure.
know. Yeah, I get that too, man.
He's like, but I'm pretty sure I know who my mom is.
I mean, but so here's the other circle of life where I talk about like your friendship shit, right? So I have my obviously. I haven't even brought up my biological father because he was never around.
Yeah, we talked about your stepdad. We haven't even talked about
He's never been around my life.
Did you ever know him?
Yeah, I mean, he lives 15 minutes from me, and I paid for every trip that we've gone on. And then once I cut him off from paying their car payments and shit, a little over a year ago, year and a half ago. I haven't even seen him. We went on one trip, and it's been 4 months. And I texted him like, "Hey, we're gonna hang out." Never
What was
text.
it like
Never
growing
hang
up with him? Did you guys hang out when you were growing up?
I wouldn't know.
Oh, really?
I met him. I met him when I was 18.
Oh, shit.
So when I was a kid, then I went back and saw him. We'd see him in the summers. All we would do is watch him play softball. And maybe one day he'll Google me and he'll watch one of these podcasts. But that's, it. So he's, everybody in your life that they feel is important, like your closest people for you, is like, I would never, ever, ever want to be my dad. Ever.
Why not?
Because of the shit that I live with regrets, with the way he treats me. I would never treat my fucking kids that way.
Right.
And, he's so, you got to be a learner, and you got to learn that like nothing's perfect. And I remember one time we were out and he was playing softball with these guys or whatever. And now I don't think he does. And I'm like, do you ever think that maybe they just don't like you? I'm like, and I go, and I
maybe
didn't
you're
really
the
bring it up.
problem.
But
Yeah.
he doesn't ever take guys trips. He doesn't ever hang out. Like he's never like all the stuff that I do, like with my buddy that flew in, he's sitting here in the podcast room, just meeting me here. Like those are good friends, but
Yeah.
he never, and this guy that knew him, I saw him when we were playing golf. He goes, you know what's interesting about your dad? He goes, he never, ever, ever talks about your kids the way you talk about them. He never talks about doing shit with them, seeing them. It's always about shit he did in the past. And I'm like, you know why? He goes, he's making up for fucking the lack of. It's like having a small fucking dick and telling everybody in the room you got this giant horse cock that you're going to do some shit with. That's my fucking dad, bro. It's like you're still the small dick fucking syndrome guy.
Now I understand.
Mike's like, finally, you're using language that applies to me.
But I mean,
it's more applicable to the first part.
I hope we shut this up, and I want to put it out there because you know what? It's not that he's a bad guy, and I've tried to have the conversation with him. My stepmom's a great woman. She's helped with many things, but don't give fucking advice on shit you've never been a part of. Just fucking hang out, have fun, show up, and make an effort. But there's a reason why people can never scale, because they don't do that. They don't show up. Like, dude, I look at these girls can you imagine every time I see when there's like a girls' night out or whatever it is, all they're doing is fucking complaining about the people that they're with.
Dude, facts.
Their husbands, their
Fucking
friends,
facts.
the
Yes.
life that they don't have.
Seen that
And
shit.
us guys, we're hanging out and we're like, bro, I took the fattest shit the other day. It was fucking epic. Or I played this golf game. We're never
I
really
think you have different
complaining.
friends than I do.
We're never really complaining about shit. Like we're talking about business
But
and
that is
hanging
true.
out and other things.
Like,
but
of all your
every
closest
time
friends,
I would say not every girl, so don't slander me on shit. You know what I mean? But there's most girls I know, they're like, oh my God, in this situation that I'm in, I'm like, maybe you should have swallowed and not had the fucking 3 kids and gotten your life together and figured it out. Now that can go to both ways for guys, obviously not swallowing, but maybe pullout game needs to be a little bit better on that aspect. But fuck, dude, we're always the victim of our own circumstance. I'm in this group, okay, on
I'm gonna get a
Facebook.
DUI. They're gonna pull me over and like you drink. I'm like,
I'm in this group.
Bro,
you smelling alcohol.
Hold on. This guy just comes in.
You can edit that part out.
This is gonna be the greatest podcast you're ever gonna have in your life. Dude, I'm in this Facebook group that it says, you're from Ogden Nip, and this chick the other day was telling, I'm in a bad thing, I need money, and then you go to profile, they're riding Harley, she's got leathers.
Yeah, there it is.
And then somebody goes, well, maybe you can pawn some of your stuff. So she literally takes a screenshot of her hand, okay,
What?
asking for money with her nails freshly done.
Yeah, get fucked.
Well, yeah, you can't. Post
Then here comes my kid's dad abandoned me, and this person did this, and I'm like, you're the victim of your own circumstance.
But that's
that
what
you
we're
put
talking about
yourself
priorities
into.
too, right? We're like, you're gonna say your kids are priorities, but then you're at the fucking concert spending $500 on Bruno Mars tickets just to go see him in Seattle on your weekend with the kids.
And FYI,
No,
they said I could say whatever I wanted on this podcast.
You absolutely can.
so-
We don't give a fuck.
We did.
This is like the new Joe Rogan podcast taking over.
It really
Just
is.
letting it
Pretty,
rip,
I mean, honest to God.
Yeah. This is the first time Nathan ever he spilled his, good job.
Well,
I've never seen
I
Nathan
mean, it's the
so
first time
flustered.
anybody said what he just said. It was the first time I've ever heard those sentences put together back to
Yeah.
back.
No, I like that mentality though, dude. Just like,
It's
no,
truth,
don't make
bro.
excuses. Stop being pussies.
You're a
Like, if you're
fucking
gonna just fucking
adult.
do it. Yep. Yeah. I've grown
And
up.
what you're teaching your kids is they're the next in line. That's literally what you're teaching your kids. You sit there and complain and I see all these fucking parents that are out there online and they're going, oh, thank God for my kids. They comfort me in my time of need or whatever. why the fuck do your kids know that you're going through that much shit that you created? Like, I can understand if it's adult stuff. My daughter and I, we've been through that situation about some circumstances, but like, the reason you don't have money is because you chose a career and a path of not having money. You chose to party and you chose to be codependent on somebody. Like, when Colette and I were going through shit, which we always go through shit, is I wanted her to have a skill set. So I started teaching her. I'm like, you need to get in a title, you need to learn this stuff. And I'm like, number one, if something happens to me, I want you to have a skill set. I just don't want you to rely on me that every day this money's going to come through the door. But also, if something happens to us, I want you to go make a shit ton of fucking money. I go, tell me what person you date does that for somebody or that's married to somebody. No, they always want to compress somebody down. Like when you look at relationships, and I learned this a lot because when you look at relationships and you go out with your friends, you go with your guys or you go with your girlfriends or, you know, whatever it is, they're always, your other significant other is always like, what time are you going to be home? Right?
Yeah.
I'm a grown fucking man. I will get home when I get home. Maybe you be respectful, which I get it. You want, hey man, I'll be home by this time. If not, this might not happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The guy to my right, we've promised each other we'd be home by 8 several times. It might go a little bit later in life. And the next morning we're like, what happened? But we had a great time. But at the end of the day, it's like,
At least you think you did.
But I remember when, you know, it's just, we leave and wake up every day with anxiety. Like shit, we got it done for work, places we have to be, in a rush. Well, you were talking about, dude, if you give me an extra 5 minutes, I'm going to take that 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a bad characteristical trait because then you're always going to be late. Like your girl's going to be like, bro, are you done yet? Like shit, bro. No wonder you got big ass quads. That shit just takes an extra 5 minutes.
It's the constellations. It's my zodiac sign. I can't help it.
Yeah, right.
I'm a Taurus.
He's got an OnlyFans for that shit. But dude, if we wake up, so my thing is I try to wake up. And it's never perfect, but at least 4 days of the week without anxiety. And if you really study it, how much you wake up, like say you got to smoke a J, which is a joint to relieve your anxiety when you wake up, right?
To old people.
Right. But then all of a sudden you're like, but that kills my anxiety. See, like if you're codependent on something like, oh, I just, I got to wake up and I have to have my cup of coffee. You're codependent on something. Why can't you just wake up?
About this for a second. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So when you say wake up with anxiety, describe what you mean.
So most people that I coach, when I ask them what they wake up, they always think about like things they have to do for their work because they're not closing enough deals and not doing it, which means they haven't built the systems in the back end to have it continually run to where they can be everywhere at once 24/7. So while they're taking their kids to school, while they're getting their kids ready for breakfast, just giving them cereal, whatever it is, they're just always like, I can't wait to drop this fucker off because then I got to hurry and rush to this meeting at 8:30.
Okay.
So that was me. I remember when I worked for the company and I was taking Macy to school and somebody would call me, I would take that call. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what I mean by anxiety. People don't really understand why anxiety. It's not so much you get like nervous.
That's
you
what
have
I'm
a nervous
asking.
breakdown.
I want you to define it.
Anxiety means that you're controlled by somebody else in their time where you're their bitch 24/7. Okay. So I try to be somebody's bitch 4 days of the week. I mean, that's better than 50-50. So I think I'm winning a little bit on that. But I remember when I opened my company and I was sitting there and I was hanging out with my daughter and she was in the middle of a conversation. I'm like, hold on, baby, I got this. And I went to answer it and I said, you know what? Fucking hit decline. Client calling back in. Decline. Call back, decline. Decline. I mean, they're fucking calling me, blowing my phone up about something, right? So finally, I'm like, Macy, let me just teach you something to answer this. I answered, I go, hello? And they're like, yeah, dude, I'm trying to get a hold of this question. I'm like, dude, I'm with my daughter in my car and I'm dropping her off. And they're like, yeah, but this is what I pay you for. I'm like, guess what? You don't have to pay me for anymore.
Yeah.
And I canceled their
that's a violation, dude.
I canceled their fucking subscription.
Absolutely.
Gave it back to them. They're not a realtor anymore because they couldn't make it because I realized if we're always moving off somebody else's emotions or always trying to make somebody else happy.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, what makes you happy? So for me, like what makes me happy?
Yeah.
Number one, I control my time.
Yep.
Totally.
And number two, I'm going to go golf. I'm going to go hunt. I'm going to go, snowboarding. I'm going to do all the travel that I want to do. I put myself first. And then my kids are second. Then my wife is third and my friends and family are fourth.
I'm fifth.
And you're fifth.
He's not in friends or
Right.
family.
He's like, I just want to have my own number. I want to have my own number.
He's
But-
like, I want my own
But
number.
if you categorize
How about
that,
acquaintances?
like I love how we're down towards the end of this year and everybody's with their quotes. 2024 broke me. Ladies and gentlemen, 2025, I'm coming back and I'm gonna own that bitch. I'm like,
Yeah, I
I've
heard
been
that.
watching your shit for the last 4 years. You are the epitome of the shit that got broke, but you allow yourself to be broke. Like, this was something that was important to me. You never get divorced multiple times. You got divorced from the same person. It's just that same person had two different characteristics that you like that the other person didn't have. So we're always trying to add, like, it's like a car, right? Like when we first bought our first car, it wasn't something that we could ultimately afford. And then we level up. It's the same thing in relationships, whether it's friendship or whether it's people we're dating. Maybe your chick that you're dating, you're like, I like a brunette.
I don't know that I agree with that, actually.
Bro, yes, it is, because I dropped Colette off to get some fucking bolt-ons on because I needed a front end alignment and I wanted something to hold on to. So yes, absolutely, change is good.
Talking about butt.
No, I'm talking about the front titties.
Oh, I didn't want to say love handles. I want to get in trouble.
I know where we're going with that.
I'm getting
I
rid of
don't know
things.
that great. I don't think that. I think yes. If you have multiple relationships, you learn and you narrow what works.
Let
for
me ask you a
and what
question though.
fits well.
Have you driven the same car your entire life?
No.
Okay, what made you buy that Tesla?
I needed a bigger car for my kids.
Okay, so that's number one.
Yeah.
So you put somebody else before your needs. What would be your dream car that you would like to? You probably like
I
to
don't
drive
have
like
one.
maybe a G-Wagon.
I really don't have
Would
one.
you turn down a
Genuinely.
G-Wagon?
No, I wouldn't turn it down.
Okay, but let's just say you could choose between a Tesla and a G-Wagon, and which one are you going to pick?
Probably a Tesla
Okay, why?
because I like it better.
Okay, but what do you like better about that versus the G-Wagon?
I like the quality of the car. I like the type of car. I like the fact that it's electric. I'm in that ecosystem heavily. I'm familiar with it.
So there's the answer.
Yeah, I
It's
like
the ecosystem. So there's got to be one anonymous, like, Trump card that has that Trump 2024 button.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite saying.
Trump, but there's got to be one Trump car of like why you would choose that. Because when I had my Lamborghini, the Lamborghini was cool. But now that I got the Ferrari, people were like, that's a fucking Ferrari. Even though they're both exotic. When I had my NSX, it was like, that was fucking cool. That's but where it is. Just like I've had a Raptors before, and then I got a Chevy Baja Raptor. And every time he's my buddy Mike gets in the truck, he's like, bro, I fucking love this truck.
But
there's-
what I'm saying though is that I think that in your analogy, you're basically saying that you experience people, you get what you can out of them, and then you move on.
No, you don't.
That's what I'm hearing you say though.
You don't
You're like you
experience it
level
from-
up. You're like
No. That's
going up.
why
I'm like,
it's
dude, I don't
you're
think
not
that's
ever
the right
dating
way
the
to
same.
treat
You're not
people.
ever dating the same person. It's you got to find the attributes and the characteristics that make you whole for being that circle.
I understand that. I'm saying that I don't think you have to date multiple people to find that.
I'm not talking. Well, we all date friends. It's not just dating. It's not like I'm dating a girl, right? I'm just in personal, like a guy.
Just like just general relationships.
Because no matter what it's going to be, we're
I'm
dating.
misunderstanding something, so I want to make sure I'm getting on
So
track
it's like,
because
it's
I'm
not
like, I'm not
it's
into like
when
using people
when
to
I
just
say,
learn
yeah,
what I
no,
want.
when you get
Like,
married,
I think that's bullshit.
Not once you get married, it's like you're not getting divorced. You're finding something that made you maybe a little better where you guys didn't work out. Maybe she found something better. Great. You can be amicable through whatever it's going to be. Maybe you're amicable through your divorce. Obviously, you got divorced, so there was something that she wasn't doing, a couple things, to where it's going to be. There's always that thing, right? Would you agree? So you want to flip this fucking script real quick, we can flip it. But what I'm saying is that it goes for the same way with friendships. If you can find the friendship to where they're the 80-20, and 80% they complete you and whatever it's going to be, sure, they're going to have their quirks, or sure, nothing's going to ever be perfect, but they're always trying to help you.
I
level
agree
you
with
up.
that in the context of general interacting with people, things like that. I
think-
just didn't like it in the context of like dating people and moving.
You never
up.
let me finish. You let me go from we went to the
Well.
Tesla to the G-Wagon. So, but
My
the
apologies.
thing,
I'm a difficult client.
yeah, there you go. It's all
Fired.
good.
You'd fire me. You'd probably fire me in the first 45
I'd
minutes.
help you fucking, you'd be fine. But the end of the day, it's like
I found it.
you're trying to you haven't found shit. You're trying to fucking find out where it is.
It's gonna be so.
Oh, I can't wait till we can roll on this. But you're just trying to find the best that you can out of somebody. And I think people, when they say, hey, look, the grass is always greener on the other side, yes and no, because that's why you trade in vehicles. That's why you never live in the same house. That's why you don't want to live in an apartment. That's why you don't want to live in a trailer. So it's just, that's why I always come back to, you got to find your happiness. So like, would I drive a Tesla? No. If I had to, yes. I like cars. I don't want to rely on the electrical thing if my power goes out and I got to, I have that anxiety of missing a meeting. You know what I mean? So
there's some annoying shit about
I try to eliminate
sure.
my anxiety points is where I was going with that, where like people are trying to go from the fucking like one thing through the other. And the problem is like, where you come back to like dating a chick is like all when people get in a relationship where we go back to the girls' night out, right? All they do is complain about the shit that's fucking bad. They never talk about the shit that's good. You ever notice that?
I mean, I think people do that in general, for sure.
Why though? Well, how did I start this podcast? What makes it that way in today's world?
They're unhappy
because
social media.
social media.
I think there's a much deeper perspective to it. I think what happens is that people are so fucking insecure with themselves that if they don't have something negative to talk about, they're concerned that they won't have any friends. Because what happens is drama guarantees a friend. How many people have ever had drama in and of themselves? Outside of being a schizophrenic, okay. So my point is, drama will always put you between two other people.
Yep.
And so what that guarantees is that you will always have someone and something to talk about. Yep. So what happens if life starts getting easy and holy shit, me and my girlfriend aren't fighting and our finances are good and the business is doing well. I have to create fucking some trauma. I have to create some drama, or else I don't know if I have anything to talk about. Probably.
Yeah, I mean, we have a mutual friend that we have, and every time we sit down, he's telling me about everybody's. I'm like, bro, have I ever sat down with you and like, please tell me about everybody else's fucking shit? I'm like, I go, do you know why my life is calm now? I'm like, I don't fucking care.
Okay, you'll appreciate this. So I like the fact that we're saying names. So I'll even maybe I won't.
Yeah.
So there's one girl I was like super infatuated with. I thought we were gonna get married. Like this was like the girl of like I just assumed like we were gonna eventually work out. And we went on a date, and we've been friends. We would like go to Vegas together before, and always just be friends, and everything was good, but we just never made that jump. Long story short, went to dinner one night, and we're kind of talking about okay, flags, like green flags, red flags, all that kind of stuff. And she said, "One of my red flags."
How long did this carry on for?
Let me finish the story first, and we'll get into there. Because that's other stuff.
Irrelevant. At this point, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, irrelevant. But the point is, she when we were having dinner or whatever, she's like, well, one of the things is like a lot of these guys are saying you do this, you do that. I'm like, okay, so that's my thing. You're going on these dates with these other guys,
and they're talking about
they're talking about me. They have an hour or two with you, the fucking like the catch of all days. And they want to be with you, and the thing they're talking about is me.
They're so worried about you.
Yeah,
and I'm like, for you. That's a good.
I noticed that shit, and I was like, yeah. So what is that saying? When have I ever gone on a date with you once? I'm gonna look you right in the camera. When have I ever gone on a date with you one time and ever talked bad about anybody else? Never.
Besides Nathan.
What's the same thing with my buddy Mike? You would get that where people are like talking about me, like, oh, well, this is that. And I'm like, and for me now, I'm at this point. I'm like, why in the fuck are you so worried about me? Like. You should not have to worry about that. And then I've got a big client I just signed. It's got a big social media out of Phoenix, and he has agents that'll be like, oh man, I can't do it. He's like, bro, if you really listen to like how he actually dives into your shit, like I wish I'd ran my company that way from when I first started getting into real estate. I've lost, I can't tell you the amount of money because the amount of money I've already made just being with him in 90 days is fucking unreal. And I said, but he's like, why are you so infatuated with him? Like, that's the weird problem that you have to get past. And for you, do you know why they do that? Because you're establishing a good brand. You're confident. You own your shit. If you make a mistake and you know, something happens, it is what it is.
Yep.
But guess what? We all have a past. Like, you know, you could have fucked 2 chicks or you could have fucked 100. It doesn't so matter. You haven't been with one. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But they'll judge you being like, well, you're a hoe. Well, what's the definition of a hoe?
Yeah, exactly. What's a large number?
Like, I'm not going to say this entrepreneur, which is a huge entrepreneur. And he said, if people could put the same effort they put into getting laid with their business, with how to make them happy and anything they do, the world would be completely different. And he goes, because,
would, for sure.
And then they also said there's 2 types of people. There's people that lie about masturbating, and there's people that just fucking masturbate. You pick which one you are. You know what I mean?
Every day.
Right.
Pump the numbers up.
You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, it made sense to where, dude, when we were young, think about the amount of time we put into like just trying to date this chick or whatever it's going to be. If we put that same effort into all these things that matter. Because when you take a chick on a date, you're not going, oh, I'd love to date you for 10 years and never get laid. But you're like, how many fucking dates is it going to take me to get in her fucking pants? Like what's going to be the trigger to be like,
You're quite
yeah.
charming, you know?
oh yeah,
Real charming.
oh yeah,
Married twice.
right,
Wow.
right.
Wow.
Well,
Interesting.
shocking, right?
Yeah.
Shocking, right?
No, but that's why I respect the fuck out of you for it. Like I said, like you
But
just
I'm
say
a real
what-
motherfucker,
Yeah, so
man.
I say you
People
get what you
just
get. The one thing I've learned, because you and I are very similar, even though we're not at the same time, which is really funny. But for
Similar,
me,
but not at the same time.
at the same time, yeah. So obviously we have very different political views and stuff, and it's okay. I forgive you. But I'm saying, like, the one thing I've learned being in business is I am a shitty manager and a shitty trainer, and the reason is because I have one style.
Have you read
It
the book Your Next 5 Moves?
We're not gonna. I have not yet. No, would that help me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your Next 5 Moves of Patrick Bet-David is probably one of the best ones where you realize you're a CEO, you're a manager, and that's where he was a really good manager, but a really shitty CEO. And then the next book I'd recommend is Who Not How. And then I would recommend my buddy Brad Lee's book called The Hard Way. Pretty good. I obviously know Brad pretty personally, and I get the outside perspective, but he's kind of like me. He would probably say the same shit on this podcast. If he could say what he wanted, that's a podcast. I mean, he and I are pretty aligned on a lot of things, but you know, there's just a lot of things in a book. I always try to learn one thing.
Yeah.
I think people read books and they try to learn 40 things. So sorry to interrupt that, but
No,
yeah,
you're
go
good.
ahead. So
No, you're good. I just think, but that's the thing. Like, my way of training or style of like getting people motivated is very much like yours. Like, you know,
Right.
stop being a pussy, get your shit together. If you want it bad enough, you're gonna do it, and then let's knock the excuses out and let's go fucking do it. Let's be consistent, right? So, but not everyone's like that. So at the warehouse, when I was training these new employees, I was one of the fastest pickers in the entire warehouse, probably in the universe. You know, for all I know,
You're
probably still on there.
competitive.
Yeah, you know, probably still on the top one. You know, Tyler Eccles. I know, I'll do that every
you
time.
probably had the most votes in that company history of like you were the top picker too, right?
Yeah, forever. It was great.
Did you ever fall down the stairs?
No, but I did lose a couple times. I'll
Did
say
you
that.
ever
But I was sick those
did you
days.
ever lose where you're supposed to walk off stage?
What do you mean?
Lose when you're supposed to walk off stage.
Walk off stage? Did you ever forget like what you were saying during the middle of the stage and be like,
Quite often.
okay, well then I could see you were hiding fucking butter from there.
God damn it, you set me up. Honestly, I was like, I know he's doing this on purpose. He's fucking doing this on purpose. But where's he going? And he did it. I'll give you that one. I'll leave it. Whatever. Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
I wasn't tracking either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was
That's
coming.
funny.
Like something was there, and I couldn't. Yeah. Womp womp womp. But not everyone at the warehouse got motivated that way, right? There's a couple guys who just like, if I yelled at them, they'd fucking be like, all right, I'm gonna go to HR and freak out. And I was like, okay, not everyone learns the same way I do.
Well, but here's the other thing. Maybe the people you yelled at had childhood trauma of their parents that beat them. And there's always something that's going to trigger somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I've just been through so much shit. Like, I kind of, in a sense, have a fucking black heart. Unless you talk shit about my kids, I'm good. You can say whatever the fuck you want about me. I could literally give a fuck less.
I know. I like that about you.
But it, you know, like from my stepdad blowing his brains out to my daughter's mom fucking dying. I tell you what, here's a great thing. And he's not on social media. And I actually, you know, I attribute a lot. It's so crazy. We're doing this podcast. So Mike's introduced me to many amazing people in my life. And there's a guy that calls us every week and whatever it is. And I knew personally, I was already going to be set up for this, that my daughter was going to homecoming and I was going to handle it right. Because I'm thinking like her fucking mom, you know, and Colette's does a great job with her. But like the amount of shit and how selfish she was as a human being to fucking just not stop drinking. And she would take my daughter when she would have her during the time and like literally suck dick for $40 with my daughter on another couch when she's like 2 years old. Okay, so that's the shit that I went through, you know what I mean? To get my daughter safe. And my daughter looks beautiful, and I know she was looking beautiful. We had all her friends. We had a party bus, whatever it is. And I had a friend that I specifically called to come help me because I knew he would keep it right. And he did such an amazing job for me.
Good.
And, you know, I came back and I was hanging out and I was watching a little football, whatever. I had a couple drinks, whatever. And I'm still fine. Got him on there. You know, you can judge it to whatever it is. But that was probably one of the hardest days I've had in the last
Yeah, I would imagine.
while.
So,
Like,
dude.
you know.
Where did
sending
your
daughter
brain
off-
go?
I mean, it's just hard, dude. Like, you know, and then I came back and my daughter wanted to judge me on some stuff. So we sat down and had an adult conversation. And I kind of let her in a little bit more. And she didn't realize, like, fuck, dude, like,
This was a
life's
big deal
not
for
rainbows
me.
and fucking unicorns.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
And I think if I could tell anybody for mental health awareness or whatever it's going to be, talk to people more. It's okay to get on these, you know, you're going to interview it on a podcast. It's okay to tell people like that you're not fucking perfect. That, you know what I mean? That life's not, you know, hunky dory, that you don't have the perfect relationship with your kids or your family or a marriage or your friends or even, you know, but start with yourself. The reason that it all fucking kind of tumbles down, and I feel like sometimes I can get better, and I don't know if I can ever change a lot of things, but I think the number one thing that I fixed 6 years ago was a better relationship with my kids. I felt like I didn't want to be that dad that just showed up and like was always scrambling, trying to get him from one thing, and thought that was going to fill the void to where like my dad was always going to be there. And I think a lot of parents, like in today's society, where they're like, oh, my parents are over there. I'm like, yeah, but do you know how to frame a house? Do you know how to fucking change? Do you know how to build a motor? Do you know how to swap out a turbo? Do you know how to fucking balance your checkbook? Do you know how to make money? That's what my stepdad taught me. So, I mean, when I look back and I look at all these fucking kids nowadays that are, well, yeah, but my parents were always, they showed up to your fucking game and they sat in the crowd and they took videos of you about how fucking amazing you are.
But that's different than engaging with you, knowing you.
They taught you absolutely nothing of a fucking human being skill set to make more than where you're going to be. That's what's wrong with our society in today, is that it's like, oh my God, I was here to take a photo. I was fucking with my homies and we're here and I'm with my kids. But you never teach them. That's why when I told you about my motorcycles, I teach my kid. I let him go out and make it all the smears for the first couple times. Now I'm like, you have to turn the cloth, and it's got 8 different parts if you fold it correctly, depending on how dirty the cloth is. And this is how much you put on it. So they're learning to do that. You know, I mean, it's just simple. I mean, they're 5 and 7, but they love to do that kind of stuff. And then yard work, and then digging. You know, my daughter digging trenches, and I tell my daughter, I'm like, I got 3.5 years left with you at the house. I mean, hopefully you stay here during college, but just for a little bit, just so I can teach you a little bit more, because it's so hard, dude. We don't, so you think back when we had, you know, you could do workshop, you could do home economics, you could do all these things.
Right.
They're never around today. Well, why do they want that? Because they want these fucking kids that are growing up to be fucking weak. They want them to be codependent on somebody that's going to help them, just guide them through life. And that's why we're fucked up. That's why there's depression. That's why everybody's entitled, because they didn't realize what it was like to work at fucking 8th grade. Like, I'm in home economics and I have $500 and I get to balance my checkbook to last a week, or I'm building, you know what I mean? And I remember one time I went to my daughter's thing, and this fucking teacher was like belittling my kid about something because she had her opinion and didn't agree with the teacher. So I fucking went to the school. And my daughter, we've had a few times where I've always said, dude, if you are where you're at and you want me to show up, I'm going to show up. So I showed up, and this teacher I just sat there and I was in a t-shirt, fucking just hanging out. And, you know, she's belittling my kid the whole fucking time. And I'm like, okay, all right. And I'm like, so are you happy? Does it make you happy? And I go, you're talking to a young kid, and because they're not curved the way you are. I'm like, are you living the life you have? Do you live in the house you want, the car you drive? The income, obviously this is what you chose for your career, but does it make you feel good that is the reason you want to teach these young kids because you feel like you can manipulate them? Like the freaking cops. I go, guess what? That's fucked up.
Yeah.
It is.
Yep.
See, my daughter doesn't know that I said that because she had left the room. And I said,
too bad.
And I said, here's
she had heard it.
Well, she's going to hear it. But I said, but here's the difference is, I'm going to go get my fucking Lamborghini and I'm going to go home. And you're going to sit here and sulk with your fucked up haircut. I mean, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but it was pretty fucked up, okay? Looked like a fucking blender hit it. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at these and I think back and I'm like, these are the people that are teaching our children for 13 years of their life before they become an adult. Yeah. 13 years.
Yeah.
And then you imagine all the other rooms they've got to go into. So let's say five times, 5 different teachers. So you're looking at 100 different fucked up people that are teaching our kids beyond what we can try to control. They're going to put them out in this universe. And that is why our society is so fucking weak. You got to think about it. For 13 years, they get 5 teachers, maybe because they got, you know, math, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
And you know, you always get the fucking one. I mean, we're guys, but you always get that one teacher and you're like, Miss Jenkins, I'm going to masturbate for you for like fucking 8th grade to 12th grade, and that's just going to be great.
First of all, I don't think I want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
You've never had a hot teacher?
I told you there's 2 people that lie. There's 2 people in life. You got to pick which one you're going to be, right?
Hey,
See, there we go.
I always thought
I use the other hand, so
there's 2 types of people in this world: those that can count and those that can't.
We need a hybrid. We need a hybrid.
got a
Like
calculator.
we need a hybrid is somebody who can like change the education program and also understand what it feels like to get smacked in the head with a steel chair, like Linda McMahon.
Right. Linda McMahon, right?
Linda McMahon will
WWE,
save
baby,
it.
let's
She
go.
will save us because the Trump
Right.
picked her for the education.
Yeah.
So the fact that she's going to be sitting on the directors of education,
Yeah, bud.
training our kids, I think you're right. It's time for somebody to be a
Built a
hybrid.
$1 billion company, though.
Yeah, that's we all go there. I did that one time. I love you.
I mean, you could at least they don't deflect from people. You know what I mean?
That's
Just to
fair.
answer the question.
That's fair.
That's
Yeah.
fair, right?
No, hey, like I said-
tell me one good thing that President Biden or Kamala did for our our
We
community.
made a promise we wouldn't go on that route. We'll talk about that offline. But
So wrapping up, this has been great.
I'll get one lick in here and there, but no, I respect the fuck out of you, man.
we're good.
This is the one thing how people all, by the way, I think are the fact that we do have these obviously different views on things. You can also still be a fucking adult and have some fun
Yeah.
with it. Don't be so
Yeah.
insecure and so like soft that you fucking take offense to everything directly. I proudly hug
agree.
my Biden fucking pillow every night, so I'm okay with it. But honestly, I do think that from the podcast, just us talking on that shit.
My different view is that we had 330 million people to pick, and that's what we get.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we have those
I'm
are
kind of
our
like,
things.
it's just, you got to pick what's best for your kids and the economy at some point.
Yeah.
Versus just, why do we send $1 billion every month to different countries?
Agreed. And I'll agree with you on that all day long. But again, I think people can actually have an educated conversation and have fun
Right.
and be friends because we have similar alignings on stuff like business and how we motivate and how we grow up and just in the end being better people for other people and our
Right.
kids. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, John, question for you: like, if you had like one overarching message of your life, your business, whatever it is, what would that message be?
Find out what your favorite word is.
Okay, walk us through this.
My favorite word is dad.
Okay.
So then you start from there and you figure out what you're doing it for. So my purpose of like, my favorite word is dad, because then my kids, so what do I want them to go through? What good qualities do I want them from me? What bad qualities do I not want them to have? What work ethic do they want? What skill set can I teach them? Because, there's always kids that'll have their kids and they'll be like 6'8", but they're the fucking most uncoordinated kid in the world, right? So you have to teach your kids a skill set, like discipline, whatever it's going to be. So I and it could be completely different, but mine's dad, dude. Because once I build that out, dude, I'm happy. It taught me freedom. It taught me to quit a $25,000 a month salary job. I'm here doing a podcast. If I didn't chase what I thought were my dreams, but then I realized they're my kids' dreams because I'm hanging out with them all the time and it's fun now. When I leave, my daughter Savannah always gets upset and she'll get sad. But at the end of the day, she knows I'm coming home, but she knows like they have a good life. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But I was home, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday morning before I left, all in the mornings. Like, how many parents can really say that where they're hanging out, they're home, or just chilling, and then I fly out for a couple of days and I come back. But then I'm only gone for those few days. I mean, most parents are gone at least 60 hours in a week, just not even home, and then you have 108 hours left. I mean, and then you're sleeping. And so that's where I think is like, find a word that makes you happy. Mine's dad. Hopefully that motivates people, that if you're a father or if you're a mother, that can make you better. If you're a grandfather, if you're a friend, I think friend is good. I think friend, like if you don't have kids, I think a great word to start with is friend. But I think I just like to keep shit simple, bro. And then once I start with dad, I just built it all out, and that's what fucking made me who I am.
And that's good. That's what you were saying earlier. Like for me, my first word was peace. When
Right.
he said that. So then you work backward. Okay, what gives you peace? How do you backtrack that?
100%.
And then when he mentioned like what makes you happy and you said peace, that might be the word that you were using there too. So
Yeah.
that was a good way to end it because I think cameras are dying.
Yeah. Yeah.
David,
Yeah.
All right. Well,
are our cameras dying?
Yeah, you guys are good though.
Magic over there. This is why we have a producer, because
Mike's got so many things going through his head right now that he wanted to be a part of this fucking shit.
This down.
Guaranteed. Oh, yeah,
we're
we
gonna
still got dinner to go, so we'll hash it out over dinner. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
But hey, John, man, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing so openly. And I like that we just got into so much stuff. Like, it's just kind of fun
Yeah,
to
man,
see
it's
the ebb and
good.
flow of where our conversation goes. And thank you, everybody who's listening and watching. And now you know a little bit more about
The other side.
Oh my God. He's just got a million buttons in his.
God damn it, Nathan. I already know what the entire. I know what our.
The other side. That got me.
I love it.
Good though.
Do we have
That
it?
was good. The other side.
The description's gonna be great.
If you just want to just absolutely get in it, who the fuck cares? Let's go.